Dr. Janina Scarlet is a clinical psychologist who says she wants to take over the world with geek culture and compassion. She says she was meeting with active duty service members struggling with post-traumatic stress disorder when she started using superheroes in her therapy sessions.
Many of them identified with superheroes, such as Batman or Superman, for example. So many of them would say something along the lines of, I wanted to be Superman, I failed. So they believed themselves to be a failure because they developed a mental health disorder, thinking that superheroes are invulnerable. So this is when my knowledge kicked in, and I would ask them, does Superman have any kind of vulnerabilities? And of course he does. He's vulnerable to kryptonite, among other things. And then I would ask, does that make him any less of a superhero? And of course the answer is no. And by drawing parallels between my patients' favorite characters, we were able to explore the person's own history as well as the fictional characters, and it made it easier for that individual to talk about their experiences and then to find language and vocabulary for their experiences and then find a route for healing.
Scarlett says that it didn't take long before she turned to another source of pop culture healing.
Harry Potter is my favorite fandom, so it only made sense to start incorporating it. And now working in primarily the civilian sector, I incorporate Harry Potter quite frequently. I'm actually working on a Harry Potter therapy book right now. And I've been asking people from all over the world to send me stories about how Harry Potter has influenced them and helped them. And I'm getting hundreds of stories where people are reporting that Harry Potter has helped them overcome some of the most traumatic experiences of their lives. That reading about a boy who survived the loss of his parents at a young age helped a young girl overcome her mother's homicide. And reading about a boy who's struggling with depression helped another individual who's also struggling with depression and prevented him from committing suicide.
How Scarlett incorporates Harry Potter into her treatment plans varies by person, but she says there are some pieces of the book series she uses more than others.
I used the third book, The Prisoner of Azkaban, quite a bit when talking to my patients about depression and anxiety. So I think Dementors are a great representation of depression. They are these creatures that suck the happiness out of you, and everything feels cold and kind of meaningless, and it's hard to connect to life and connect to happy memories and enjoy things. That's very much what depression feels like. And for people who have chronic major depressive disorder, understand that this is what it feels like. And at times it might be very, very difficult and nearly impossible to connect with happy memories. And at the same time, connection is the very patronus that we need to recover from depression, connecting with happy memories and people and experiences that we care about is the ultimate patronus.
The uses are endless. If someone is struggling with anxiety and fears, Scarlett may point them to sections that deal with boggarts, magical beings that transform into your deepest fear. She uses Book 5 to help patients identify with Harry in one of his most traumatized, depressed states. And of course, she says she often turns to the wise words of Professor Dumbledore.
I've had a number of patients that have told me that they've been able to use certain phrases from Dumbledore that has helped them get through difficult experiences. I think some of Dumbledore's most famous quotes have been helping people to recover from some really, really painful things. One that I really like is actually not as commonly stated, but it's numbing the pain for a while will make it worse when you finally feel it. I've actually used that one in therapy because a lot of people, after they experience trauma or painful loss, might not want to talk about their painful experiences, understandably, but research shows and our experiences show that the more we numb the pain, the worse it is when we come face to face with it. And Dumbledore, in his wisdom, lets Harry know this, that instead of running away from our pain, we need to open ourselves up to it. We need to have compassion for ourselves and our experiences.
Scarlett says we don't just need to take her word on the idea that Potter books can help people gain understanding. She says there have been real studies done to show that there is power in the series. For instance, there was a study in Italy that she says can show us real-world applications of J.K. Rowling's books.
A group of high school students were asked to read a passage from Harry Potter. If I remember correctly, it was specifically the one where Hermione is bullied by Draco, and she's called a mudblood. So she's called this really derogatory word for someone who is born to non-magical parents. And some of the students were asked to read this triggering passage that shows where Hermione is being bullied, whereas another half of the students were asked to read a fairly neutral passage, such as of Harry learning to fly. And then after this, the students were rated on their views on stigmatized groups, such as immigrants and the LGBT population and homeless people. And what the research study showed is that people that read the passage that showed Hermione being bullied were much more compassionate towards stigmatized groups. So they were able to experience Hermione's pain and were able to then see how bullying can negatively affect someone, and therefore were more compassionate toward others.
And Scarlet says if that doesn't convince you, there's also visual proof of learning compassion from Potter.
There's actually another study where participants were reading the same passage where Hermione was being bullied, and they were put in an MRI, and their compassion centers of their brain actually came on board. They were lit up, which shows that our brains are actually emitting a compassion response to the fictional character when we're reading about this fictional character being bullied. And this essentially teaches us how to be compassionate toward other people in real life in similar situations.
Scarlet says the magic is in the process of reading. A book is one of a few mediums capable of really letting you immerse yourself in someone else's position.
Reading books allows us to experience the world through other people's or other characters' points of view. So it allows us to better understand diversity and certain political issues. It allows us to also relate to others by understanding that we're not alone in our experiences. I think it allows for what's called common humanity, which means it allows us to recognize that we're very similar to other people, even if the other person comes from a different cultural background or religious background. I think that reading allows us to understand how similar we truly are to others. We all ultimately want to be loved and understood and accepted. And in reading, we can really see that. We can see how ultimately, at their core, most characters, just as most people, want something very similar. We want to be cared for, we want to be loved, and we don't want to struggle, we don't want to suffer.
Dr. Janina Scarlet's book, Superhero Therapy, is available now. While she continues work on her Harry Potter therapy book, she invites listeners to read her blog at superhero-therapy.com. For more information on all of our guests, visit our site, viewpointsonline.net. You can find us on Twitter at Viewpoints Radio. Our show is written and produced by Evan Rook. Our executive producer is Reed Pence. I'm Marty Peterson.
Viewpoints returns in just a moment.
Many seniors are not receiving an important health evaluation during routine checkups with their doctors, according to the Alzheimer's Association 2019 Alzheimer's Disease Facts and Figures report. New data shows that only half of seniors are being assessed for cognitive decline in the primary care setting, and only 1 in 7 are receiving regular assessments. Alzheimer's Association Chief Program Officer Joanne Pike says the report highlights a missed opportunity for seniors and their physicians.
These findings are in sharp contrast to the majority of seniors who receive other routine assessments like cholesterol, diabetes, vision, and hearing. The Alzheimer's Association encourages seniors to be more proactive in discussing memory-related concerns so that changes warranting further attention can be addressed in a timely manner.
Pike says that while there is currently no cure for Alzheimer's, early detection and diagnosis of the disease offers many important benefits. Learn more about the warning signs of Alzheimer's dementia at alz.org.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you can donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-835-1478. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 1-800-835-1478. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher for donating. Call now, 1-800-835-1478. That's 1-800-835-1478.
And that's Viewpoints for this week. Viewpoints is a production of MediaTrax Communications. You can follow us on Twitter and Facebook to learn about upcoming shows and find a library of past programs on iTunes. Plus, you'll always find podcasts of our segments and information about our guests at viewpointsonline.net. Join us again next week for your public affairs magazine, Viewpoints.